I finally read it after being worried I'd hate it, and hey, I didn't hate it. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which is the really big, very popular, cozy, low stakes type of fantasy, where it's really just about a coffee shop. And yes, if you're not aware of the book, which I find a little surprising because this one's been very popular and really made the rounds, it's about Viv, who is an orc and had been a mercenary in the past and is tired of that life, and so decides to move essentially to a kind of small town that's never heard of coffee and open up a coffee shop. And the story goes on with a lot of found family elements as other people are kind of drawn in, and they upgrade and change the different coffee and other stuff that's being there. And this is a very light, feel good, cozy type of thing, and that's a type of genre that I know exists and some people really like. I've been really concerned about how I was going to react to this because I've tried very few things that really fall this hard into that category, and so I was really worried that I would hate this. And like I said in the intro, I did not hate it, though this still really wasn't for me at the same time. It was generally well written and it was nice, and it could partially just be maybe I wasn't in the mood for this. I think if I was really looking for something very, very light and low stakes, this might have fit just a little bit better. Although I don't really have a lot of complaints about the story, more of just it not being that much for me. Now, something I do want to specifically mention is early on, this felt like it was going to do that trope where, like, the ex-soldier, mercenary, whatever, goes to the small town and then they get into trouble with the local ruffians, and it's this whole thing. And it's one of those things that has been done quite a lot, and it felt like we were going to go that direction, and it doesn't really go that direction. So I'm not considering that a big spoiler. I also don't think this is really a story that spoilers would particularly matter because the whole point is that it's very low stakes. But it seemed like it was going to go that way, and then didn't, and so I was kind of pleased with that because right off the bat I'm like, oh, is that just what we're doing here? But no, it really does stay with the low stakes. This really is just about coffee as well as some pastries, and it is like it's a cute story, and I can see why people like this, especially. There's a lot of fantasy that goes on to the darker side these days. That's kind of more in vogue, where you see a lot of that. So if you're looking for just the equivalent of a just complete light read, this would probably be like a good palate cleanser, even if it's not 100% your thing, I think, as well. And like I said, not a bad book. I was kind of middling on it just because like it was fine, but it didn't do anything for me that really elevated it. But I think that's just with the very cozy thing just not really fully matching into my taste. And I've read some other things that kind of have some elements of that in slice of life as well, where I did really enjoy them. So that's where I was curious to see. But I think the difference is it's not a whole book that's just the slice of life or cozy. Like there's other things going on, and this is very much intended to just be that, which I get, and I know a lot of people love. And it was for me, it was okay. Like I said, I liked it overall. Didn't love it. It was kind of the good, not great type of area for me is where I landed on this. And I'm just glad, like I said, I thought this was going to be another one of those things that people were going to yell at me for not liking and giving it a bad rating. But definitely doesn't deserve a bad rating. I think it's just kind of knowing what you're in. And I feel like looking at this book, you could probably make a fairly snap decision on whether or not you're interested in it or not. If you don't like the very, just kind of like cozy slice of life type of thing, this probably isn't going to be for you. You might be like me, where you end up kind of like, oh, it was fine, even though it's not your thing. Or if you just don't like this kind of thing at all, and what I've talked about sounds terrible, don't pick it up. I feel like that's pretty well given. And that's why I waited so long, because I thought I was going to fall into the camp that just was very much not the audience for this, which I still think is fairly the case. But it was still a nice, light, fun read, and so it's nice to just have something kind of light thrown in every now and then. So didn't I'm glad I did finally get to this. It's not what I'm crazy about. I'm not going to be back in the Kickstarter or anything, but it is a fun, light read, and it's one of those things where, like, I know there's another one in the series that's going to be coming out. I'd maybe check it out if I just wanted something super light after maybe some really longer, heavier reads and just kind of like something simple. I'd probably throw it in for something like that. So. Like I said, not a bad reaction for me. I would say it's just kind of one of those things that it's not really what I want. I want a little more going on. I want a bit more of the stakes and that kind of thing. And I know that's not what this is. That's not a critique of this book. That's just me and my taste differing from what's being offered here. So let me know your thoughts. Are you still mad that I was that middling on it? Like I said, I know this one's very popular. So I decided to give it a shot and just kind of see, and ended up, like I said, actually being a little bit pleasantly surprised that I didn't actively dislike it, because I thought that was going to be where I fell and why I waited so long, because I was afraid of that. So let me know your thoughts on this. If you read it, if you like this kind of thing, or if you're the kind of person that's like, no, yeah, I wouldn't read this. This doesn't sound like my thing at all, because I could see both sides. This is something that's going to be for a certain audience and not for other audiences, and that's totally fine. But always interested to see your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, any books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.